Calma aí, gente. Vai pro fundo.
Hello.
Hi. What's up, everybody? So what's up?
Hi, Ronda. How is it like to be back to Brazil for the first time since 2007 and not be booed by the fans?
Well, actually, in 2007, I had a great experience with the Brazilian fans. They booed me at the beginning of the day, but at the end of the day, I got some cheers. That's why it's my one of my favorite crowds in the world to fight in front of.
Beth Correia or Jessica Andrade?
Who do I want to fight? I want to fight Betch. I would love to fight Betch in Brazil, actually. I think that would be an amazing event, and I would love to be part of it.
Do you think that beef between Betty and the Four Horsewomen could improve the sport, could help the sport in some way?
Yeah, I think it's extremely intelligent of her, and I think that's one of the things that was missing in women's MMA before I came along, and I'm glad that the girls are taking the hint and making themselves a lot more interesting for the fans, and I think that that storylines and the backstory is extremely important, you know, because the fight becomes more than just who is athletically better. It becomes about who is right, and then the fans pick favorites, and it becomes personal with the fans as well. And so, no, I think it's very smart what she's doing, and she's not going to get away with it, but it's very intelligent.
Do you think she's ready to challenge you?
Yeah, I definitely think that she's ready to challenge me. I think that she's one of the best in the division. She's a top contender, and as soon as Dana thinks that it's her time, I'm ready to fight her. I'm a champ. I'm supposed to fight anyone at any time, and I'm waiting for whoever steps up.
You have the whole package. You're pretty, you're smart, you're on the big screen, you won a SPY, you're an Olympic gold medalist, and you're not stop winning. You have the belt and everyone. Do you think you could be the greatest of all time, despite gender or weight class?
I'm an Olympic bronze medalist, but I don't know. I think those are the kind of titles that you can't give yourself. You have to wait until after you retire and see if the fans give it to you.
Ronda, what do you think the new Ultimate Fighter is going to do for women's MMA in the future?
The whole reason I was part of the Ultimate Fighter from the beginning is because I knew it was great for the women's division. It might not be great for me personally, but it's great for the women's division, and I'm very happy that they're making a season that really showcases the women only, and I think this is going to be one of the most interesting and fan favorite seasons ever made.
You have been used by the UFC as a star, going to several events in Brazil and China. Does that is that a problem for you to keep training, keep evolving, or can you mix with the training, keep training and keep traveling for the UFC?
Actually, it was a very convenient timing because I was in rehab for their last fight. I got knee surgery right afterward, and actually I kept this a secret. I haven't said it publicly till now, but I broke my thumb in the last fight. Right next to the joint, I had a pin stuck in, and I was in a cast all summer, as well as my knuckle as well. But I just got cleared by the doctor like 2 days before I left. So I'm cleared to fight now, and yeah, I think it was perfect timing for me to go and do the media required while I was in rehab. I think it was the perfect multitasking.
Do you have any timetable to return to the octagon?
I would love to fight January 3rd on the card with John Jones and Daniel Cormier. That would be what I prefer. I love fighting on New Year's because it's one of the biggest shows of the year, and I love being part of it. And I love driving to fights. I had a very bad experience flying here. Oh God, I got delayed for like 10 hours. What happened? Oh, we left Atlanta. First I flew from Los Angeles to Atlanta. We left Atlanta, and I fell asleep, right? And I woke up, and it was like 2 a.m. They're like, okay, we're landing in Atlanta. And I'm like, what? What happened? And so like we ended up getting delayed like 10 hours because our flight's radar broke. And then I felt so bad because I wanted so badly to interact with the fans at the weigh-ins, and I know that there was a big event set up, and if I could fly, I would have flown here to the Brazilian fans, but I'm still working on that.
And that was September 11th, right?
Yeah, September 11th, right? What a day, right?
Terrible day to have.
Oh my God, there was this
flight, right?
Yeah, there was this one lady like having a panic attack on there, and I was like, you know, chill out. There's just no radar. We can see the ground. Wait, no, it's nighttime. Oh shit, panic. No.
Back to July. You really think to step up to UFC 176? You said
July?
it on the octagon. In July 4th, 5. Sorry. You told you could step up to UFC 176, but Dana White freaked out because you could. And did you really think that? You think you could step up? You offered yourself to step up because Jose Aldo couldn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, I broke my thumb and I had a huge gash in my hand, but I firmly believe I can beat any girl in the world with one hand. So any day of my life, I know that I'm the best in the world. My mom raised me. She said, you're not training to be the best in the world on your best day. You're training to be the best in the world on your worst day, because you never know if you're going to have your best day when it counts. And she said you had to be good enough to win every match twice on your worst day, because they're not always going to give it to you the first time either. So I always have that in mind, and my mom was actually pissed off. If you saw her in the cage, she was giving Dana the evil eye. She was like the mom face and the Marge Simpson noise, you know? That's my mom's thing. So she was very upset. I was ready to fight. I'm like, whatever, if you need me to do it, I'll do it. The UFC took a risk for me, and I'm happy to take as many risks for them as they need me to.
Dana White said several times that he's very close to signing Gina Carano. Is that a fight that you're really anxious to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's the fight I've been dreaming of ever since I found out women's MMA existed. The first fight I ever saw was Gina Carano versus Julie Kedzie. And when I was watching that fight, I remember watching and hearing the guys in the room that I trained with, and how they were admiring the girls and respecting the girls. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I could beat those girls. Like, why don't they look at me like that? And I always wanted to fight Gina from then. But there's my coach has a really good saying. He translates it from Armenian, but it says, "Be jealous but be kind." And so I wanted what she had, but I didn't want her to lose it. I wanted to have it too. And so it would be the greatest honor of my life to be able to fight the girl that really inspired me to take up MMA and change my life.
Are you going to watch Simon's debut at 135? Are you going to watch her debut fight at cutting weight?
Yeah, I've been watching her for a very long time. I've been watching her longer than she's been watching me. Remember that.
Yeah, you talk about your mom. What is the importance of her in your life?
My mom is everything. She's the reason why I'm a fighter, and all the best things about me are because of her, and all the worst things about me are despite her.
Who's going to win the fight tonight? Arlovsko or Kuzan?
Well, I would have to say Bigfoot Silva, I would say, if I was being unbiased. So I don't know either of them, so like it's not like I'm picking against a friend of mine. And yeah, I would say that definitely I would say Bigfoot Silva.
How did you do with the Marina Shafir's loss? She's a very close friend of you. She's your partner, and she suffered her first loss in MMA, right? And how does it feel for you?
It's always very hurtful to see someone that you really care a lot about hurting. And so, you know, I share a lot of her pain that she felt in the moment, but I really also believe that everything happens for a reason. And it was actually my nanny, my great-grandmother, who had a saying that she said, God always knows what he's doing even if you don't. And so it was for a reason, we don't know it yet.
That was a quick one. What do you think happened?
What I think happened? I think she was just a little bit too uncomfortable, and she had a lot of quick wins in the very beginning, and I think it would have been better if she didn't rush for the finish and tested her hands more, but I did the exact same thing, so I can't, tell her to not do that, because that was my tendency as well. And she's got to have her own path and her own way, and I'll be with her every step of the way, even if there are some back steps.
How do you feel when fans take shots at the four of us women thing, saying that you are the only one that actually is winning, and you should get rid of it?
Well, it was the fans that gave us the title of Four Horsewomen in the first place, so God, make up your damn minds. We didn't come up with it, they did.
Ronda, Jessica has been calling for a fight with you, hasn't she?
Jessica, just fight?
Yeah.
I'm down to fight her. She was very impressive just now. And if the UFC thinks it's the right thing to do, then I'm definitely going to fight her and show why I'm better. She's a great athlete, but I still think I'm the best.
Between Gina, Jessica, and Betsy, and everybody else, who do you think is going to take the fight with you on January 3rd if you get the fight on that card?
To be honest, I think that the two fights that I would like the most are either Gina Carano or Kat Zingano. Because I know she's recovering, and I talked to her personally, and I promised her, I was like, one day we are going to have the title fight that you deserve. I'm going to beat you, but we're going to have it. And she's had a very, very rough year, and I think that that's exactly what she would need. And I'm happy to provide that experience for her.
What are your thoughts on Kat Zingano against Amanda Nunes? Is her next fight now?
Well, Amanda is a very, very tough chick. I think her knockout against Julia Budd was like one of the most devastating knockouts I've ever seen in women's MMA. But Kat's she's a very seasoned striker. So I don't know. It's a very, very good fight. I would say I would probably lean towards Kat. I think she would probably be favored in the fight, but I would never count Amanda Nunes out.
Ronda, Beth Pereira started training MMA. She didn't start in any particular martial art like yourself.
Do you think that's the way to go? Are we going to see more of fighters starting MMA, training MMA, as opposed to martial arts?
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to become a lot more common. I think it's going to, as part of the evolution of the sport, and she's proof that the sport is evolving and people are just taking up that. But I think there is a lot of value in having a speciality as well, and so we'll see. I mean, I think that some people that take up MMA, they tend to be mediocre at everything, but some of them are amazing at putting it all together. And so it depends. Some people starting with only MMA serves them well, and some people like Rory McDonald, so it sort of serves them amazingly. And so far it seems to be working out extremely well for her. So everybody has their own way and their own style that works for them, and we're both undefeated at the moment, so who says which is better until when we fight, then we'll know.
Going back to Chrissy Bart, we know that she's even not in UFC, but it's a fight that you really want. It's still in your mind to fight her?
Yeah, it's always been a fight that I wanted. But everybody forgets. It was less than 24 hours after they announced out-of-competition drug testing that she requested to be released from the UFC. I didn't go anywhere. She's the one that left. I've always been ready to fight. Where's she at?
The director of Expendables told that you broke his hip. Is that true? Are you that mean?
No, he was exaggerating. First of all, he said I broke his rib. Second of all, I didn't hit anything hard, okay? So I know I just punched him in the stomach. If I hit a rib, I would have felt something. It was just like my hand disappeared. And then third of all, it was his idea, even though he kind of said, because I was nervous. My first day, my first scene, my first dialogue scene ever in any movie, anything, was me and Sylvester Stallone, like a little bit, but I was nervous, so I was rocking back and forth a lot. I was like saying my lines like this, and so the director, Pat, would like come over and he would like grab my elbow and like, stop. And so after a while, he's like, okay, what do you do right before a fight? It's my Australian accent, it sucks. Like, what do? Do you like, do you jump around? Do you go for a run or something? I'm like, no. My coach has me like punch his hands, and he like holds his like this. He like holds his hands up. I'm like, no. I'll hurt myself in your hands. So I'm like, why don't I just let me punch you in the stomach? And he was like, all right, fine. And I didn't even hit him hard, but I just put like a little touch at the end, like a tick like that. And he didn't take it that well, apparently. He looked fine. He just walked right off. But when you hear him retell the story, he's like, yeah, and then she punched me in the stomach, and I was like, like that noise. He makes this noise. Like every time he tells the story, he didn't make that noise in real life. He's an exaggerator.
But do you know that you're no hard hit? It's hard for normal people, right?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know too much about normal people. Why don't you tell me about it?
No, thanks.
When the movie came out, what do you think about your job there, the movie overall?
It's hard to say because I'm so new at acting. It's very easy for me to judge my own fighting performance because I feel like I've been fighting for so long. But with acting, I feel like I'm so new that I can't really say if it was good or bad. I can't be unbiased, so I don't know. I just did the best that I could, and that's the best that I could do. And I know I have a lot of room to improve, but I'm working just as hard at acting as I would at anything else. When I was a bartender, I was going out to be the best damn bartender that ever existed. And so, I mean, I'm trying the same thing with acting, and I know I've got my white belt in acting right now, but I'm willing to work for years to get my black belt.
Would you like to do a movie with Gina too?
I would love to do a movie with Gina, actually. Warner Brothers bought this book, The Athena Project, by Brad Thor, and there's a bunch of parts that she could play in there if she wanted to. I think it would be very, very cool. If you read the book, you would understand. So it's a lot of like SEAL Team 6 for chicks.
How was to be part of a movie with so many stars of action movies?
Well, it was very daunting at first, and then it was surprisingly casual after a while. It's like I compare it to like getting naked for a camera. It's like, oh my God. For first you're super shocked, but then after a while it's like you're not going to get any more naked. Everyone's already seen you, and so it's like, okay, it's very, very shocking at first, but after the weeks go on, it just becomes like casual. It's whatever, and then you just realize that all these people that are thought of as celebrities are just very ordinary people in extremely extraordinary situations.
And they were cool with you?
They were all so respectful and so cool. And I was expecting to be like the new kid at school that was a dork that they wouldn't want me to sit at their cafeteria table. I felt like really shy when I first showed up, and I was really surprised by how welcoming and respectful every single person on that cast was.
Ronda, what do you think about the rematch, José Aldo and Chad Mendes? Who's gonna win?
Ooh, well, since Alexis Davis trained at Team Alpha Male last time, I might have to go with Jose Aldo. They were all over the interview. What was it? It was Dillashaw. I was saying that Alexis Davis was going to beat me. Sorry, Uriah. Love you and all, but mutiny, man. I got to go for Aldo. And I'm in Brazil, you know? Like, I don't want to get shot on my way out. So I'm like, yeah, Aldo all day.
And about Belfort and Weidman.
Ooh, well... Ugh. I'm sorry, but you know what? I've doubted Weinman before, and every single time I doubted him, that I was wrong. And so, though I think that Vitor is an amazing athlete, I've seen the kind of changes his body has gone through lately, and I would have to go with Weinman on that one.
I know sometimes when you watch a woman fight, it seems that you are in a different level if you compare with the other woman fights. Do you feel that you are in a different level?
Of course I feel like I'm on a different level. I'm the best in the world. What do you want me to say? But, you know, they're as good as they possibly could be. It's just there's just no way that they could work harder than I do, you know?
Ronaldo Jacare recently said that you inspire him with your judo, you inspire him to use more judo. How flattering is that?
He's always been amazingly flattering. I remember I was on a Strikeforce card with him and he complimented my armbar, and I turned red and I wanted to melt into my seat. I was like, he likes my armbar. But no, he's always been an amazingly nice and respectful person, and I wish nothing but the best for him. You know, Igor Masasi is a friend of ours, but I mean, nothing but respect to the how the way Jacare won. He put on the better performance that night.
What do you think you did to take the game to the next level?
What did I do? Well, I was lucky in a lot of ways in that I was very prepared before MMA ever came along. A lot of the things that I hated about judo ended up helping me in MMA because in judo the referees are very biased, and so I knew that I was going to get a penalty before the other person, so I always had that constant attacking style, and they're very against newaza, working on the ground, and so if I was going to submit anybody, I had to do it in a second. Sometimes, very, very fast. And then I also tore my knee when I was 16 years old, which forced me to spend the whole year only working on arm bars and on the ground. And it also made me I had to think of a whole new set of throws. So for a judo person, usually most judo people have like 3 or 4 throws that they're very, very good at, but I'm good at like 30. And so all these things that happened in my life that I thought were bad, the referees, the injuries, and all these other things like that, they all ended up really helping me become the most complete fighter in the world. And it was the most frustrating thing when I was first coming up in MMA, and I knew that I was the best in the world, but no one believed me. Yeah, that was why I worked so hard. I was frustrated because I was just like, don't you understand that I'm the best in the world? Nobody knows. So that was one thing that really, really motivated me from the very beginning. Is that I stepped into the gym the first day that I started MMA, and I knew that I was already the best in the world. I just had to become more complete and a little bit more of a smooth fighter.
You're kind of liking to the stand-up game, right? In the past few weeks, we saw, I saw watching your last fight, and you hitting girls, you were hitting them, and you're winning by knockout. That's a new thing in your career. This is a new Ronda, 2.0 Ronda?
Well, it's funny. Right before the last camp, I think, it was that camp for the McMahon camp. My mom came to watch me spar one day, but my mom never watches me do MMA, and she's never been into MMA. And when I first started to do MMA, she said it was the stupidest fucking idea she ever heard in her entire life, and it sounds like boxing, and I need to go to college and all this shit. And then after sparring that day, she looked at me and she's like, you know what? I think you're better at MMA than you ever were at judo. And I was like shocked that she would ever say anything like that. You know, that was my mom doesn't give many compliments, and that was like, you know, it makes the ones that she gives all the more valuable. And I really feel like my coach was very intelligent in giving me structure from the very beginning. He didn't teach me how to throw punches for a whole year. He only had me do footwork only for a year, footwork and jabs. And then after that, it was just the straight punches. And after that, it was straight punches and body punches. Most MMA fighters, they learn hooks from the very beginning. They come out and they throw wild hooks. I only started learning hooks like a few months before the McMahon fight. Actually, yeah. Not even, like barely a little bit before the Misha fight. So really for the McMahon fight, I started doing hooks, but really for the Alexis Davis fight. I really worked on it. And so all these people, all these girls are studying all my footage and trying to come up with whatever plan they want to beat me. Just keep in mind that the first overhand right that I ever threw knocked someone out. So study all you want.
Every single jiu-jitsu world champion went after you, after your comments about jiu-jitsu and judo, beating jiu-jitsu. What's your response to them? Some of them challenge you to a Meta Morris fight. Is that something that you would do?
Well, I wasn't so much saying the judo versus jiu-jitsu. I was more saying like me personally, because I know in general jiu-jitsu people are better than judo on the ground. But if a judo person is good at the ground, they got to be damn good at it because it's very hard to do it. And all these girls are so offended by me thinking that I'm the best in the world and I could beat them. No one's asking why shouldn't I be offended by them having the same exact opinion. And yeah, I'd be happy to do Meta Morris if they paid me as much as I get paid for a UFC fight. I don't really have that much time. You know, I have a lot of options, and right now it's so much to just keep like the acting career and the MMA career going. I mean, everyone keeps going like, are you gonna do WWE? Are you gonna do Meta Morris? Are you gonna, you know, do another fight? Are you gonna do 4 fights this year? Are you gonna do like 5 movies this year? Are you gonna be an astronaut? And I'm like, hold on. I only got so much time for shit, okay? I can't be running for president right now. I can only do so many things at one time. I would be happy to do Meta Morris. I think it'd be a really, really cool idea after I'm done fighting too, you know, because that's one of the sports that are kinder to the joints and could probably do for a longer time. And I even talked to my coach before. I'm like, why don't we just try and do every combat sport? Why don't I go to the Olympics in boxing and then win Abu Dhabi and in jiu-jitsu, and then I'll go win something. Let's just do all of it. I'm like, yeah, you don't have that much time. So,
what was the toughest fight of your career?
The toughest fight of my career? Ooh, that's a hard one.
Tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Well, I think the toughest run of fights in my career. Ooh, that's hard. I would say it was the German World Cup when I was 18 years old, and in the first round, I threw the girl. I was ahead. There was like 40 seconds left. She caught me in an armbar, and before I even knew what happened, my elbow was already out. And so I'm 18-year-old. I'm sitting there with my elbow dislocated. I'm like, well, it's already out, you know. I'm like, I might as well try to get out. So I try to get out. My elbow goes back in. She pops it out again, and I was like, well, she already popped it out twice. You know, I can't just do that for no reason. So then I got out. I ended up winning the fight. And then the next match, I fought the girl who was Olympic and world champion, Lucy DeCoste. I couldn't lift my hand up from my side. I had to like pick my hand up like this and bow in with my hand up, and then fought like that. I ended up losing in the beginning of the fight. Then I went down to the repertoire. My elbow is still messed up. I fought a German girl in Germany. I ended up winning that fight. Then I ended up fighting Urska Zolnir, who is a world and Olympic medalist from oh man, I'm not going to say it because I'm confused between 2 countries and I don't want to offend anyone. And then I lost a very, very close fight with her. And man, by the end of the day, my elbow was just trashed. And it was just one of those days. It was like, well, you know, and I ended up with nothing.
In mixed martial arts?
In mixed martial arts? I would say my strongest opponent has been Sarah McMahon. I think she was like the most physically strong one. And if she hadn't got knocked down from that liver strike in the very beginning, I think it would have been a much tougher fight. But yeah, a lot of people would say Misha, but I was mostly just trying to beat her up before I finished her off. So I wouldn't really call that a tough fight since I outstruck her 5-1. But I would say that within the short period of time that I fought McMahon, I took a lot more damage than I did with.
What do we really need in this life? I look at myself sometimes like it's not right. People out there with no